Alright, welcome Multi-Man Publishing Standard Combat Series North Africa. We are back for the Commonwealth exploitation phase. Sorry, a little break here between my last recordings, real life, keeping things busy. But coming back here, we do see the British have struck. Rommel struck hard, but now the British have struck back. And it's time to start thinking about the end of the turn and supply. That at the end is blocked, and the only effect of being out of supply is there's a 50-50 chance, or in the German sense, it's a 5 or 6 chance, I think a 1/3 chance of surrendering. So what are the British going to do? I've been looking at this a little bit, and I think they're going to try and guard Bardia. That ensures if they hold Bardia, they get the stalemate. They stop the German victory conditions. I don't know if they can get a line here. The big equalizer for the game has been when the Germans were able to kill a good chunk of the British supplies. The British tried to pull the same thing. Didn't quite work out. The Germans are down to 1, and the British are down to none. So we'll see what happens here. There's some strategy now with respect to end-of-turn supply phases. How do we burn supplies? All the British can do now is either react to a German activation or pass if the Germans don't do a full or limited activation. And what the British are going to do is force the Germans to do that. And you're going to see in a second, but there are some things here. The Germans do have a second supply unit way over here to get these reinforcements going, and we'll see. The Brits are going to try and force that by putting some units way out on a limb, but it may work. It may not. It may not. It may. Who knows? So this unit's going to be expended. That's one of their supply units. And then the other one was, of course, Stowbrook. I think I already marked it as expended. So here's what we're going to do. Well, at this point, I can go ahead and pull this supply unit. But we are going to move this armored car unit. Right here. And why am I doing that? Well, the armored car unit, I'm using the optional rule. Decided to use the optional rule, and this is a big one, actually, for recon units to screen. I think I went by it. There it is. So they can conceivably retreat here. And the key is, puts these two units mainly in Zoc. They will not be able to overrun next turn if the Germans activate, which they may have to do. And then we're going to put one guy, let's see, I want to do one guy here. One guy here. And one guy in Bardia. And then the question is, what do we do with the 6? Now let's put the 6-4-12 here. And I'm not worried about overrunning. So let's put Gott stayed with his guy and stays here so he can help with the defense of Bardia if it comes to it. So these guys have all moved. Okay. So the next people or the next unit that can move is this guy, and I've gone back and forth. He can go here and try and block supply, but then the Italians will roll up right behind him. But I don't know if it's better here, or actually I'm thinking here, and that stops these units from doing overruns. This guy could come over the top though and overrun. But then he'd be done. These guys can't overrun, and this guy wasted an overrun. And in theory, he is blocking supply here. And then here's the one I had to think long and hard about. These two armored cars, and let's just use one as an example. 2, 4, 6. I think that's okay. 2, 4, 6. So 60 here. 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's a clean 10, so he can move 15 on this road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And actually, he's going to park himself Well, he doesn't want... So here's the tricky thing. He wants to retreat. So he doesn't want to have these units get behind him. And they're pretty fast. So let me think about this here. All right, I just don't have a good feel for how to do this. So this is what I'm going to settle with. They are forced to burn the supply unit at some point by the end of the turn to get these guys off the road, or else everybody down road is going to have to roll for surrender. And then this supply unit, this guy is technically blocking the road, but this can be handled with somebody going here. So I wonder if it's probably better to just put him on the road, but then this guy can overrun. Wow. Units move too fast. I'll just let it ride here. I don't think this is going to hold up for the Germans. So the Germans have a choice. They can react, limit activation, or full activation. And, you know, just looking at the strategy here, I mean, should they try and set up? Their other problem is going to be next turn both sides get 2 supply units, which means the Brits can do 2 full activations. And the Germans, well, they're going to have to burn a supply unit somewhere. They can do a few, but the Brits get a full activation, 2 full activations, and all the Germans can do is react in between because of the special scenario rules. I don't know if they can knock down the door here, if they should go for the win or go for the stalemate. Could go either way. So, bottom line, Germans could do a react, then the Brits do a pass, and they could use that, well, they could use that react up here to get around behind these units, or they could come down here and do it too. Or they could do a limited activation and clean those out, but then they won't be able to use their 2 airstrikes and 3 artillery that they would have with a full activation, which could help them knock down this road here. But if they do a full activation, they have to get all the units off the road or clear the road, which I think they can do if they get behind these guys first. But as soon as enter a Zoc, this guy can retreat 3 hexes. 1, 2, 3. And this guy could too. Alright, well, that's, again, more to chew on. This is a game you have to chew on. This guy can retreat before he gets totally destroyed here too, so I think that ends the British turn, and now we come to the German turn, the Axis turn. And again, their decision is, do they do a react and position their units and save their supply? Do they do a limited activation to clear out a certain area? The only reason I wouldn't want to do that is because I can't use artillery and airstrikes. But if they do a react here, they can get their units pretty far, and then the British can't do anything. And I don't know if this is gamey, but in theory, maybe we'll send units down here and cut their road too, and everybody rolls for surrender. That's pretty wild. All right. Yeah, this is beginning to feel a tad gamey. Although armored cars here on a raid, I guess that's not pushing it. So anyway, we'll see what Rommel decides to do next. So anyway, it's a short one, but it's getting back in the saddle again. So the British activation is done, and we're going to the Germans next. So thanks for listening. Click like, comments appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't. And see you at the German turn.